Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my August TBR, where we will be using this TBR jar to help me pick out my August TBR. But first, super quickly, let's talk about my July TBR. I only read 2 of the books on my July TBR, but I did have 1 DNF. So I am going to count that as I read half of my July TBR because I did at least try to read half of my July TBR. I just ended up DNFing one of them, but that's okay. Let's jump right into picking my August TBR. Whoopsies. Prompt number 1. A book you should have read in school. Okay, immediately I have a couple options in my head for this. Okay, my first thought was actually The Odyssey because I recently had a conversation at work where a couple of people were talking about the Odyssey movie and I said, oh yeah, I want to see the movie, but I haven't read the book yet. And they were really surprised that I didn't read this book in high school. And I was like, yeah, we never read the Odyssey in high school. And one of them was like, oh yeah, that was my favorite book that we read in high school. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I really need to read that. But my concern with putting this book on my August TBR is that I did actually just DNF the Iliad maybe a month or 2 ago. And I kept telling myself I want to read the Iliad before the Odyssey. I don't think you necessarily have to, but I want to because I think that's technically recommended to do. I just don't know. But I do also have another option. This is Animal Farm by George Orwell. And I've read 1984 by George Orwell. I want to say I read that in middle school, but I could be wrong. As in like for class in middle school. Maybe I did read it in high school. Now I can't remember. But either way, I read that book in school and I did really like that one. And I was actually expecting to have to read this book in high school because of that Good Luck Charlie scene where like for some reason the older sister had to take Charlie to school one day, and so Charlie is like dressed up as some type of farm animal to help with her Animal Farm presentation in English class. I don't know why, but I haven't seen that episode in actual years and it just sticks out in my mind, which makes me want to read Animal Farm. And also since she was literally doing a school presentation in the show, I feel like that means I should have read this book in school, right? Oh, but also this one's also a good one. Fahrenheit 451. I don't know how we didn't read this in school. And I definitely feel like I should have read this in school. Okay, maybe I'll go with this one actually. I don't know. I'm stuck between these two. Already stuck and it's my first prompt. Oh, this is set in like a dystopian future. Okay, maybe I will read this one because I'm kind of going through a dystopian phase right now and I'm really enjoying dystopians. Is Animal Farm also a dystopian though? I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna decide. I'm gonna go with Fahrenheit 451. I don't really know a ton about this book. Like I said, it's a dystopian and our main character is a fireman, and it says his job is to destroy the most illegal of commodities, the printed book, along with the houses in which they are hidden. And it sounds like he never really questioned things before until one day he meets this person who introduces him to books, which he's obviously burning as part of his job. And his world kind of changes as he starts to question everything that he's doing. So it sounds really interesting. I am a little worried about it because I am deathly afraid of fire, but I'm sure I'm gonna be okay. So this is the first book going on the August TBR. Prompt number 2. Written by 2 or more authors. Oh wait, that says 2+ authors. Okay, so maybe it has to be more than 2 authors. So I was going to say, I know I could easily do Christina Loring because it's actually 2 authors working together, but I don't remember what I was thinking when I wrote this prompt. It says 2+. Let's see what I have. Okay, I actually think that this is the only option I have physically, and I am trying to focus on my physical TBR. So I'm gonna put this on my TBR. This is The Deadly Hours. Another book I have no idea what it's even about. A couple years ago for my birthday, I think it was my 23rd birthday, my sister got me 23 books for my 23rd birthday, or maybe it was 22 for my 22nd birthday. I can't remember. It was something like that. It was a lot of books and she thrifted all of them, and to this date, that is one of the best gifts that I've ever been given, but that means I have a lot of books on my physical TBR, but I don't know what they're about. Obviously, I read the back of the books when I was opening them, but at this point, I don't remember what they were about. So anyways, this is, okay, okay, wait, this actually sounds so fun. It says it's a lineup of historical mystery novelists. It's the tale of a priceless and cursed gold watch as it passes through time. Oh, so we start off in 1733 Italy, and then we go to Edinburgh in 1831, follow a series of murders in 1870 London, and a lethal game of revenge decades later. The watch touches lives with misfortune. This sounds so good. Actually, I can't believe I had this sitting on my physical TBR. The characters are linked by fate, each playing a key role in breaking the curse until the watch finally comes to one young woman who might be able to stop it for good. Okay, that sounds so good. I also don't think I've heard of any of these authors before, so I feel like this is a fun way to get a taste of each of these authors' different writing styles. So this is the second book going on the August TBR. Book number 3. Oh, I have 2 prompts. I did not even realize that. The next in a series. This is actually perfect because I was just looking at my series tracker and thinking about how I'm just in the middle of way too many series right now, so I need to start tackling those. Let's see what options I have on my physical TBR. I know I have a couple, but I also have a couple on Kindle that I want to read as well. So let's see. Okay, immediately I'm thinking Fractured. This was actually on my last month's TBR and I didn't get around to it, but I really wished that I had gotten around to it. So this one is a top contender. Oh, but so is Anne of Windy Poplars. I love the Anne of Green Gables series. Oh, this is gonna be a hard choice. I honestly should just start going with the book that I first think of when I pick out the prompt because I'm having decision fatigue. Like when I get multiple options for one of these prompts, I don't know what to do with myself. You know what? Yeah, that's what I am gonna do. I'm gonna go with Fractured. This is book number 2 in the Slated series. This is another dystopian. Like I said, I just have been wanting to read dystopians recently. I don't know what it is. And then I also think this weekend, Jack and I are going to rewatch the entire Hunger Games trilogy and then also watch The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes because that movie just came out on Netflix and neither one of us has seen it. Anyways, I'm in a dystopian phase right now and I just can't stop. So with all that being said, this is book number 2 in the Slated series. And Slated is a YA dystopian series. I think it's only 3 books, but I have not fact checked that. And basically we have our main character who gets slated, which means her entire memory is wiped. She literally has to learn how to walk and how to eat and how to just do all of those basic functions because her entire memory is wiped. And in this society, you are slated when you are a criminal or something like that, but you have to be under the age of 16 to undergo this slating process. It's basically pitched as like a second chance for criminals. But of course, in any dystopian novel, things are a little shady, things get uncovered. The government is a little suspicious, you know? So I really enjoy these books, and since they're YA, they're great for a younger audience. And if you're, you know, my age and you're a little bit older, they're also just great, quick, fast-paced reads. Great for if you want to spend the evening on the couch and just read and get super engulfed into a book. These are also a little bit nostalgic for me because I did read this series as a kid. I read them in middle school. So they are a little bit nostalgic in that sense, but I don't remember anything about this series when I reread the first book. I didn't remember a single thing while reading it. So that's the great thing about having a bad memory. But Fractured is book number 2 and it is the 3rd book to go on our August TBR. Okay, prompt number 4. We have a non-fiction read. I was actually just going through my physical TBR before sitting down to film this video, and I noticed that I have a lot of non-fictions on my physical TBR. I think it's because I just keep accumulating non-fiction books, but I also read non-fiction a lot slower. So I'm kind of glad I got this prompt so I can start reading through some of the non-fiction on my physical TBR. Let's see. Okay, so I have 3 options. There's actually so many nonfiction books that I want to read. Obviously, they're on my physical TBR, so I do want to read them eventually, and I could have just kept pulling nonfiction books, but I'm cutting myself off. I'm sorry if the angle changed slightly. My camera just died, but I was just saying that I could literally pull so many nonfiction books off of my physical TBR that I want to read, but I cut myself off at 3. And 2 of these are actually kind of similar. I believe they both focus on the brain. So the first one is The Soul of an Octopus. It says it's a surprising exploration into the wonder of consciousness. Oh, but this actually follows an octopus. I think that the reason I wanted to read this one was because of that Netflix documentary that also followed an octopus, and I really liked that one. Yes, okay, that's definitely why I wanted to read this book. I don't know if I'm in the mood for this one, but maybe. And then I also have The Brain That Changes Itself. My sister actually read this book. She's really into psychology, and this says it's stories of personal triumph from the frontiers of brain science. I do actually think that I would like this. I don't know, it sounds really interesting. Like, let me just read you some of the chapter titles because those are what's interesting me. So it says turning our ghosts into ancestors, imagination, pain, brain lock unlocked, midnight resurrections, redesigning the brain. I don't know, this just sounds really interesting to me. I just don't know how likely it is that I'll get to this in August. I genuinely think these two are about to battle it out. My last option is Kiss the Ground. How the food you eat can reverse climate change, heal your body, and ultimately save our world. I actually thought about studying environmental science for a while because in high school I took an AP or science class that I swear changed my life. Like, that class taught me so much and I just feel like changed me fundamentally. And it's honestly why I care about the climate and earth so much. And I've been also really wanting to get into nutrition and nutritional science because I also actually thought about becoming a nutritionalist, which is still something that really interests me, so I want to learn that on my own. So this might be a top contender. It kind of gives me the vibe that it's going to combine aspects of climate change and like that nutritional value as well. So this might be a good contender for me. For some reason, this is giving me more summer vibes than this one is. I don't know why. Neither one of these are summery. They're nonfiction books. Maybe that's just my excuse for going with this one. But Kiss the Ground is the 4th book going on my August TBR. You know what? This might be crazy to read while Cyclospora is still everywhere because it says, as we harvest healthy, abundant food for regenerative agriculture diets, we can also eliminate the poisonous substances that are harming our children, our pets, our bodies, and ultimately planet Earth. So this might be really interesting. It also is kind of reminding me of Silent Spring, which I do own Silent Spring, and I read about half of this in high school. I was supposed to read all of it. Don't tell my earth science teacher, but I never ended up reading all of it, and I do actually one day want to go back and read it. Oh, I took some notes in here. Not many at all, because I didn't get very far. But anyways, we're gonna put Kiss the Ground on my August TBR. Prompt number 5. Starts with the letter K. I feel like this is gonna be hard. K is so random. Okay, let's see if I have anything on my physical TBR, and if we don't have anything, I'll go to the Kindle app because I actually have a Kindle for a trial right now, so this might work out in my favor. Okay, I do not have anything on my physical TBR that starts with a K. So let's go to Kindle Unlimited. Okay, we'll just type in K and see if anything comes up. Okay, it doesn't. So we're just gonna have to search. Oh, Keeping 13. Is that book number 2? No. Dang, I need book number 1. What's book number 1? No, that's not a K. Okay, there's The Night and the Moth, but I did actually already read that this year. Oh, there's The Kill Clause. Okay, that starts with a K. That could work. Actually, okay, I don't want to read that because that takes place during the holidays. And with it being summer, I do not want to read about Christmas right now. I want to hold on to summer for as long as I can. Okay, this is not working for me, so I'm gonna go to Goodreads and see what happens if I type in K. Oh, wait. Okay, that took actually forever, but I went through my Goodreads want to read, but I found a bunch of books I want to read that start with the letter K. And were some of you guys yelling at me to choose Kingdom of the Wicked because I just said in a reading vlog recently that I wanted to read the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy, and I've wanted to read those books for so long, but I somehow just fully forgot about them when I pulled this prompt. And they're actually on Kindle Unlimited, so I should read them before my free trial is up, so hopefully I can get to those in August. But we're just gonna put the first book on my August TBR. Okay, actually I don't want to read this. Wait, do I? I don't know. I think I changed my mind because I just read Throne of the Fallen and I didn't like Throne of the Fallen, and that's by the same author as this, so I'm kind of like, maybe I don't read it. Okay, actually I just found a book on Kindle Unlimited called Kindred. It is part of a series. It's a 5-book series and it actually has a 4.3 rating, which is pretty good. Okay, so our main character discovers that she's from a line of vampire hunters. So it sounds like she's either in college or high school because it says with her friend's help, she tries to balance school and hunting while working to rid the world of the monsters that murdered her parents. Okay, and then there's a little bit of a love interest, but she is of course trying to hide the fact that she's a vampire hunter from him. Okay, yeah, this is a young adult fantasy series. It says it's recommended for ages 15 and up. Obviously I'm older than 15, so I'm not worried about it, but just in case you were curious. So I'm actually really excited about this one. This will be the 5th book going on my monthly TBR. Now for the last book for my August TBR. This is a classic, but you know what, actually this gives me an opportunity now to pick And of Wendy Poplars because I almost picked this one earlier. Oh, it also gives me the opportunity to pick Animal Farm because I also almost picked this one earlier too. Okay, see, I was scared for no reason. I do actually think I'm more in the mood for Anne of Wendy Poplars. I said this earlier, but this is part of the Anne of Green Gables series. This is book number 4, and I need to start reading these more before I forget what happened in the rest of the books. But if you don't know anything about the series, basically we have Anne and she is an orphan, and one day she shows up to this farm that is owned by a brother and a sister, and they decided they were going to adopt someone to help with farm work. And because of that, they had actually requested a boy from the orphanage. And so when Anne shows up at their doorstep, they're kind of like, what are we going to do with you? Like, you're a girl. We wanted a boy. And so Anne kind of panics and she's like, no, give me a chance. I promise I can help on the farm. And Anne is a very unique character. She's also quite young in the first book, and we've gotten to watch her grow up. In the last book, she graduated college, so she's probably, I don't know, 21, 22, somewhere around that age, I assume. But this entire series is very character focused. It is a classic, but it's technically written for children, so it's super easy to read. And so far, I highly recommend this entire series, so I'm very excited to be putting book number 4 on my August TBR. Oh shoot. And that is it. Let's do a quick rapid fire of all 6 books that are on my August TBR. We have Fahrenheit 451, Fractured, The Deadly Hours, Kiss the Ground, Kindred, and Anne of Windy Poplars. And we finished this video at the perfect time because they just started mowing outside and it's probably super loud, so I'm sorry about that. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what book you are most excited to read in August, and let me know which one of these books you want to see in a reading vlog in August. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!